Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a Saturday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Ullman, along with the Equibase ace, Keith Fustel. And Keith, we've got 9 on the Saturday program, 4 $100,000 stakes races, and a late pick 5 carryover of $7,225. You want to get involved, especially considering the low 12% takeout.
The low takeout, and you saw with the early pick 5 yesterday, a $24,000 payout. We were really close of getting our TV pick 5 done, just beating a skosh there with Kieran's horse in leg number 4. But yeah, you got to jump in on this bet. 12% takeout, best bet in the business, as you like to refer to it. And yeah, 4 stakes, plenty of action. Yeah, we're going to deal with an off track. We dealt with it yesterday, and I thought we were around a lot. So if you played along with us yesterday, you made some money, no doubt about it. And race 2 today is like a stakes, Dan, for the 3-year-old fillies.
Really good card today, really good card tomorrow. But let's focus on today with the carryover and the 4 $100,000 stakes. Before we do, Preakness 150 is right around the corner. Get your Preakness tickets now. They are going like hotcakes. Preakness.com is where you want to go. 150th edition of the Preakness. We say it just about every day on the show. It's going to be a bittersweet Preakness because it's the last one at Old Hilltop. But again, we are ushering in a new era in Maryland racing.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're going to look forward to that. But you know what? We're going to take in the moment of Preakness 150. Speaking of hotcakes, you had some last night, I heard, right? That complete the evening.
I had about a half stack at the old IHOP. That's basically how I'm rolling at this point
I like
now.
I like carrying you through.
But if I get hot, and I was allowed to play the preview day challenge at Laurel Park, I'd be in because it looks like a great deal. $500 buy-in, $250 bankroll, $250 to the prize pool. Learn more at laurelpark.com. This is a hybrid handicapping contest, which means you show up at Laurel Park on Saturday, April the 19th. You sign in. You have fun at the track betting the Laurel Park races, or you can sign up online. Again, all the information at laurelpark.com. Cash prizes, 2 Preakness tickets, and an opportunity to win entry into 2 of the most prestigious handicapping contests in the world, the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, the National Handicapping Championship. I believe the winner of the National Handicapping Championship this year took home over $800K.
Yeah, and this is not a complicated format, Dan. No. Self-explanatory right there.
Even I can understand.
Yes, well, even me, you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. But, but no, you've got this opportunity. If you're new to handicapping contests, you want to kind of get started, ease yourself in, here's a great opportunity.
I want to tell everybody that one of the most beloved traditions at Pimlico is going to be back once again. Mother's Day at the races, Sunday, May the 11th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Get your tickets at pimlico.com. It is usually a great event, usually is sold out, and it's just a lot of fun for the family.
Tremendous memories with my mother at the racetrack. Been to Pimlico many a times with her. She's no longer with us, but she's looking down, and you know she'll be there in spirit for Mother's Day. And just miss Mom. They were great great times at the track with her.
You mentioned the wet conditions. Let's take a look at our weather conditions for our Saturday 9-race program. The main track is currently listed as muddy. First post is at 12:10. 44 degrees, a little chilly.
It is a little bit chilly. Things looks like they're on their way out of this region. So let's get some dry weather in store. Obviously, this is feeding the turf course. Now we need a little warmth, some sunshine. We'll get that combo together. We'll get that turf course ready to roll.
Let's kick things off with race number 1. We're going 1 mile and a 16th, short run into the first turn. Maiden claimer 12.5 down to 10. Maryland breds can opt for the $15,000 claiming price. Let's scratch the 4. Shameless Visions. That leaves us with a field of 9. This is the first leg of the first of 2. 12% takeout value pick 5s, and it truly is a value with a 50-cent minimum wager.
I'm not going to lie. I did not play my ticket yesterday, and I was steaming upstairs after the first 3 legs. We got the $33 winner home, but we're going to try it again today. A $36 ticket. This is not the easiest of sequences, but again, 12% takeout. It can pay handsomely. It did yesterday. 268 to get you started. Girl Gone Wild, Map to the Moon. She got the money. Going to be a shorter price in the race 1. Race 2, 2 and 6. Lots of ways to go there. You could sell me basically on everybody in race 2. So anybody there's got a shot. I'm narrowing it down. Great Andre, second off the break. And the 6, Mosler in the mud, as we like to say here. Race 3, 5, 6, and 9. Sweet Heidelberg getting the surface she likes today. Race 4 with the 2, 3, and 5. Top Blood straight to water. Really good debut. A little green, but nice effort for that Linda Albert trainee. And Change My World. I got to come back to that one there for Mary Epler. Wrap it up. Race 5 with the 4 and the 5. Speediness, Film Star, renewal here of a stake not too long ago. $36 ticket.
And we'll start things off with our joint top selection in race number 1. That's the 6, Map to the Moon, third start of the form cycle for Jose Corrales. Wheeling back in less than 2 weeks. It's been a good move for Jose recently. Over the last week, he's had 3 winners coming back in 13 days or less.
Yeah, he keeps them busy. He keeps them running, no doubt about it. But this one here, stretching out Liam's Map, Malibu Moon, I think this horse should be fine. Has 1 try on an off track. You go back, that was last summer at Delaware. Stretching out here, didn't have the easiest of trips, 2 races back. Looking at the field, I mean, I guess Authenticated's got to go from the inside here to 2 turn, the mile and a 16th difference. By distance, I think Map to the Moon, third off of a break, and an angle for Corrales. The maiden claimers stretching out. It's been good. He's got over a $3 ROI with this angle. Just kind of maybe take up a chasing spot and hopefully kind of just keep grinding. She got the money. Looks almost too good to me. If you just look anywhere close to that last buyer figure of 38, it just kind of sticks out against this field. But one thing we touched upon before the show, where are these jockeys going? Because you're looking. You would have thought Yetsit would have stayed with Map to the Moon. You would have thought Cruz would have stayed where she got the money.
Instead, she got the money's jockey, original jockey on the overnight cruise, goes to Wicked Melissa, who figures to be a bigger price. Hazelwood, who you would think would ride for his patron, Jose Corrales, goes to Kieran McGee's Kaya Star, whose best buyer speed figure is a 19. So lots going on in this race.
There's a lot to decipher in race number 1.
What about Girl Gone Wild? I want to talk about this horse for Kieran, because breaking from post position 2 and stretching out in distance, this filly might show some speed.
Yeah, I just think they ran away from her last time. She got away a little sluggishly. And look at the internals, 23.46 and 2, found herself 8 lengths out of it midway around the turn. A little bit of a grind late when working inward. I think stretching out could work. Going to need some patience here from this rider to get early position, maybe tucked up behind the speeds. I do think Authenticated is going to be keen from the inside, maybe to run away, but would not surprise me in the least. Like I say, if she got the money, doesn't get it done, there's a lot of ways to really look at race number 1. I'll take the shot with Corrales.
You mentioned Authenticated real quickly, breaking from the inside post. Is it too early to give up on her?
Right.
She's now going around 2 turns for the first time. I know she's lost at short prices in her first 2 starts. She did chase a pretty quick pace last time out before tiring. Maybe she just gets a run and gun from Weston Hamilton, who's been riding in good form. It really depends on price in this situation. She's right now 9-2. I think that's fair. I think if she goes down, I'd probably try to search elsewhere.
I think one thing you're looking at too, she's going to get a track, I think, bred. The way she's bred should really kind of relish the off track. Now, how much is it going to move her up? How much does she really have to move up in here? But it might help her stretch it a little bit more today.
We want Map to the Moon from close to the pace under Andres Salves. 6.821 for Keith, 6.829 for me in the opener at Laurel Park. Let's move on to race number 2. Race number 2 is at 3/4 of a mile. This is a good race for 3-year-old fillies. It's a high-level allowance with a $75,000 claiming option. Take out the 4 Flaming Eyes, which leaves us with a field of 6. First leg of the 50-cent pick 4. If you get knocked out, unfortunately, of the early pick 5, you still can get into the pick 4. If you don't get knocked out of the pick 5, you still should get into the pick 4 because the payouts have been pretty good recently.
Nothing wrong with being a little bit greedy, right? Let's get the money today.
Greed is good in this game.
Pick 5, pick 4. And talking about race 2 here at 3/4 of a mile through 3-year-old, there's a lot of these with stakes experience. As I said, just almost like a little stake here early in the card. I go Great Andre for Jerry Robb. Let's go right to the video spotlight. Great Andre and Malibu Hooch, holding very good form. Second off the claim here for McMahon. It's a good return, I thought, for Great Andre.
We hadn't seen Great Andre in months, so this is her seasonal debut. She went to the front. Malibu Hooch had one race under her belt this year, and maybe that made all of the difference. Malibu Hooch is on the outside going after Great Andre. You would think right here that maybe Great Andre is really just going to falter badly, perhaps run 3rd or 4th, but she digs in gamely for Jerry Robb. Malibu Hooch gets the better of her in the stretch, but I did like the way that Great Andre dug in there, and I do believe she can move forward in her second start off the layoff, and I do believe she's going to get the lead again.
Yeah, something we talked about, a horse like Shakira and a few of these others. Maybe we've kind of seen where they are. Great Andre second off the bench. It's a good move. It's a profitable move, high percentage for this barn. Also, second Lasix. I got a little sad here. 3-year-old allowance types on the main track. Second Lasix. 244 ROI, 3 for 9 the last couple years for Jerry Robb. So I expect her to go out there. And let's hopefully keep on going. I think Safe Trust is a horse you really have to take a look at. Again, Mosler in the mud. Her best figure came on a muddy surface a couple races back, and you see that comment. Outside, ask at the quarter. So confidently handled like that track. She's going to be a danger right off the pace again, but she's shortening up from that mile.
She is versatile, however. She has won from on the lead. She has won from off the pace when she was placed first last time out in the Beyond the Wire going the 1-turn mile. But I'm kind of agreeing with Jose here in that I think that she's more of a late-running sprinter than maybe a true 2-turn horse, which is why we don't see her in a race like the Weber City Miss coming up next week. Safe Trust, I think, is going to need a little bit of pace turning back, but I'm not sure she has to be so far out of it. Green-Eyed Monster is coming into this race on a roll. She is a 3-time winner. She's won 2 in a row, and this is a horse that I think could just trip out, tracking on the outside while in the clear.
Yeah, and coming off of that race at Colonial, the 5.5 with Safe Trust coming off the mile, maybe she's able to get a little bit better position into the turn. Really good, gutsy effort last time out. A couple horses came out of that race to win, including It's a Monster Mash from the Robb Barn. But, improving leaps and bounds here is Green-Eyed Monster.
And then you've got Shakira Fire, who was just named champion Maryland-bred 2-year-old filly at last night's Renaissance Awards. This is a horse that's very, very consistent. Could always use a little bit of pace up. Seems to catch these short fields all the time.
And she can kind of catch herself in a little trouble as well. Even with the shorter field, she hasn't had the easiest of trips. Last time just stayed inside to grind it out, but hard to leave out of your exacted tries. Not much splitting this field. Again, you could make a case, even not too late, on her best, and gets on the board against this group. So I know one thing: if Great Andre breaks, the road's going to go through her.
We're hoping Great Andre with a giant try in race number 2. 2.631 for Keith, 2.375 for me. Moving on to race number 3. 1-turn mile with the long stretch to the second wire. 7,500 down to 6,000. This is a condition claimer. Take out the 8 out of luck. Take out the 10 Divine Exchange. Jock change on the 7 the Haunted Room. Yedzit Hazelwood picks up the mount. This is an interesting race. Freccia d'Argento is a very, very solid horse. It is the first leg of our second of 3 pick 4s on the afternoon. We're not only offering early and late pick 4s today, we're offering early, middle, and late pick 4s. Action all over the place.
We have plenty of action. You want to start with the video spotlight of Freccia d'Argento?
Let's start with the video spotlight for Freccia d'Argento because she is very, very honest. And we're going to see Freccia d'Argento in here. She finishes well usually. It's just that she doesn't win very often.
No, she chases. She's up early. She drops back a little bit around the turn. And then she's out there the whole way. But she's got a grinding, willing style every race. You look at her last two, put up seconds behind the speeds of Rumen and then Haley B. I think both Nest runners, right, Dan? But Haley B came out of here to win an open race. Yes, she's going to have some targets, and I just, she is probably the best stayer. Coal Mine might get the jump on her, top of the stretch to say to mid-stretch. We'll see if Freccia D'Argento can reel them in late. Here's a stat for Rudy Sanchez.
Been hot lately. Between March the 2nd and April the 6th, 21% winners, a $2.02 return on investment. And you can make an argument that this is a hidden class drop for Freccia D'Argento. Haley B has been so good recently that she would be probably a heavy favorite in this race. Freccia D'Argento is willing in most of her races, but lots of seconds and thirds, and you know she's going to be a short price. So you're going to look for value, and you're going to do so with a horse that you've scored out on in the past, a horse that has good early speed, and a horse that loves a wet track.
Yeah, I just worried that a barn, like Corrales, have the whole card for Sweet Heidelberg. She loves an off-track 4 for 6. Last time out, up early, gave in a lot sooner. Now, that track didn't work up as sloppy or muddy than I thought. Got involved early, backed out. But I think it's all systems go again. She's all or nothing to me. I mean, well, I guess she could hang on for a piece, but I got to take a shot at the number she's going to be off of the last two lines. Yeah, I'm going to use her into the mix. I think you can trust Freccia D'Argento to make her run into it. Coal Mine. We're going to have Mike Beer here later this afternoon coming in and filling in for McKenzie. Going to be out there with Callie Francois. He likes Coal Mine a little bit. I do think she's got a little bit more positional speed than the favorite.
Getting back to Sweet Heidelberg real quick before we get to Coal Mine, because that's my top selection. I just think her getting out to a mile is going to be advantageous to her. I think she's been running too short recently, and last time out, it's not like she was dueling with some slow horse. That Lavisa is a very fast horse out of the gate, and I just think Sweet Heidelberg going 7 that day got burned up. This time, I don't think she's going to have to work nearly as hard to make the lead, and if she runs some of her back races, she could easily win this. I'm a fan of Coal Mine. I've been following this horse for a while, taking a little bit of a drop from the open 7,500 into this beaten condition for trainer Joy Singh. Was a little bit eager coming out of the gate last time out, going a one-turn mile. Down on the inside, had to alter course off the fence in mid-stretch. I wonder if maybe she was already beaten at that point when she was in tight, but I liked the way she finished. I liked the way that she galloped out, and I think this little layoff will work for her.
I think the key is just don't try to move too soon. If Sweet Heidelberg is keyed up and ready to roll, get her to relax. She hasn't been seen for a few months. Troy's had a couple of these horses that have been laid off since latter part of January, but she certainly works in here. I like her tactical speed. I am going to throw in the 7, the Haunted Room. You talked about a rider change. Darwin, okay, but we got Yetz at Hazelwood, a rider doing very, very well. Just look at that off-track record for the Haunted Room. She has popped up in the past at a big, big number and run well. 5 starts, a win, 2 seconds, a third, 63. You're looking at the last couple, no shot. 53 3-back gets this horse in the money.
And I'm going to throw in Happy Birthday Corey, the number 2, shipping down from Penn National, a horse that just seems to have improved off of the layoff. Took a couple months off, has taken steps forward with each and every start. 3rd start back. I think the one-turn mile works for this horse. We'll just see how she classes up. He's going to go with the speed. Sweet Heidelberg, 5-6-9-7. I'm hoping Coal Mine's little class drop works. 9-6. 2-11 in race number 3. Let's move on to race number 4. This is a nice race as well. We're going a one-turn mile. These are straight 3-year-olds. It's a first-level allowance with an optional claiming range of 62.5 down to 50. Field of 6. The field remains intact. It is the first leg of our 20-cent Pick 6, Chesapeake Pick 6 carryover, and we have a carryover into the Chesapeake Pick 6. We'll put that up in a moment. Pick the winners of the last 6 races on the card, and you get paid.
Pick carryover. There 3, it is. Yeah, $3,043, and get you started again with a little video spotlight. Change My World in Top Blood, coming out of a race on March the 23rd. And the run into the first turn, a little bit tricky for both of these horses.
Change My World, especially as you see on the outside there. She's the number 8 in the pinks thing, and down on the inside, take a look at the check right there.
Yeah.
That really hurt Top Blood. Both of these horses were severely compromised, and now the pace really quickens up.
Yeah.
The problem here with Change My World is it's his first time stretching out.
Yeah.
He's eager. He's pulling. He is really pulling into the teeth of this fast pace. That works against him. And Top Blood, you see, is kind of working hard to try to stay within range as well.
Yeah.
So it's been a very stressful opening half
Yeah,
mile.
and Top Blood makes a little run into it. Obviously, Change My World is going to challenge and a little keyed up, as you say, Dan, from a 5.5 furlong try prior on March the 7th, Change My World. But I tell you, all in all, I thought both horses gave a willing enough effort to the head of the stretch that kind of allay any real fears today. I think they're going to come back and run well. Change My World, I think, has a little bit more positional speed, could get a jump on Top Blood. But this opening quarter through half is going to be interesting. Hacksaw Ridge, very quick last time, stretching out to the 2 turns off a little bit of a break for Brittany. Had every right to get tired, but was sharp in doing so early. Let's see what this one does from the inside, along with Tethered Soul, going off of the claim here for Hugh McMahon. And Straight to Water was impressive, winning debut. I like this race. I think it's shorter field. I like a little value. We got to Change My World at 5. What else you want to talk about?
Straight to Water was very green in the debut, and we have a video spotlight for Straight to Water. Not only was he green, he was very talented. He didn't break great. The jock got him off the inside, is just pulling and doing it on his own on the outside right now. And Straight to Water is just going to cruise up on these horses to his inside, and he's going to make the lead pretty easily eventually. Now, when Straight to Water eventually does make the lead in upper stretch, you're going to notice that the greenness kicks in. He's saying, what do I do now? Where are the horses I'm supposed to be chasing? Because he's going to start wandering to the outside, wandering to the inside. But Yomar Ortiz always had control of Straight to Water, and I always like it when first-time starters show the ability to win at 7/8. It's a demanding debut distance. I thought this was a very promising performance, but this is a much tougher field, and he's just going to have to be more professional.
He's going to have to be, but at no point, literally, calling that chart, Bill, looking at it, he looked like a winner every step of the way, basically, saved the first, quarter of a mile. But this horse, once he got down and relaxed, he took the rating, cruised up. Yeah, kind of got lost a little bit when clear on the lead, but a lot of talent for Straight to Water. Right back for Lindau, just an extra 1/8 of a mile, 7/8 to the mile. That works for me.
Tethered Soul off the Hugh McMahon claim, and Hugh dropped in $50,000 to get Tethered Soul last time out at Colonial off of a pace-pressing victory. We've got a trainer stat for Hugh McMahon. This is off the claim sprint to route, 6 for the last 16, 38%, $6.29 ROI. How do you see the pace in this race? Tethered Soul went quickly in that Colonial race. You look at those fractions, 22 flat opening quarter, 22.3 second quarter. But something tells me that Hacksaw Ridge is going to be pretty aggressive from the rail. I think Hacksaw Ridge gets the lead.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's going to go ahead and send. I think Tethered Soul will be keyed up and ready to roll. Now, the only knock I really have, that was a great stat. That track at Colonial, it was carrying the speed, and if he gets tied up here with Hacksaw Ridge, how far can they take it? Therefore, I go for horses that are going to take the aim from just off of it.
Fun race. 5, 3, 2, and 6 for Keith. We're hoping Change My World can just settle down a little bit in the early portion of this race. And I'm just curious to see how good Straight to Water is. We'll learn a lot about his overall ability in this tougher spot. 3, 4, 5, 1 for me in race number 4. 4 down, 5 to go, including 4 stakes races, including the late value pick 5 with a pretty solid carryover. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back in a moment.
At the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, we believe in giving every thoroughbred a second chance.
And thanks to you, the owners, trainers, breeders, and every supporter, you've created a ripple effect of change that's helping these magnificent animals move on to new careers and safe, fulfilling lives after racing.
Every single donation, whether big or small, is contributing to a brighter future.
But this race is just beginning. Because of you, we have gained incredible momentum and we're ready for more.
Well, welcome back to Today at the Races. I'm Dan, he is Keith, and we're getting set for our final 5 races of the program, and we start things off with a good one. Race number 5 at 1 1/8. It's the $100,000 Native Dancer Stakes, 3 and up. Scratch the 2, Armando R. It leaves us with a field of 5. It is the opening leg of our late value pick 5. When we say value, 12% low takeout on this pick 5. We have a carryover of over $7,000 going into this card, and our good close personal friend Callie Francois has a ticket for us.
Callie's ticket. Okay, she's going to get you started. Speediness, Film Star. These look like they too. If they don't go too crazy up front, I think they're going to carry the speed a long way in race 5, the Native Dancer Stakes, to get that stakes action started. Race 6, tricky race now. We have a late scratch on the 3, Malibu Moonshine. I think that's going to eliminate our jackpot super high 5 right now down to 6 betting interest. We'll confirm that, but yeah, 2, 3. Take out the 3 now, Malibu Moonshine, and we'll adjust the cost of this ticket. So now 2, 8, 11 in race number 6 for Callie. Race 7, a single of the 4, First Lady Rosalind. Scratch the 2, BG Warrior, and the 5, All Class in race 7. Race 8, 3 deep in there with the 2, the 3, the 5, Circle P, bringing a little value, just kind of getting better and better. Did set a great trip last time for trainer Flint Stites. Wrap it up. Race 9 with the 1, the 3, and the 7. Key for the win. Gets it Hazelwood on the outside for Hugh McMahon. Scratch the 4 and the 6 out of race 9. It's a right now $36 ticket. We're going to adjust now because of that scratch of the 3, Malibu Moonshine in race 6.
The Native Dancer features a rematch between the number 4, Speediness, the number 5, Film Star. These 2 horses locked horns in the Robert T. Manfuso Stakes. Our video spotlight going way back to December the 21st. This was a tremendous race. We know Speediness's game. It's to live up to his name, and that's speed to the front. But Film Star is no slow horse. He stayed within range of Speediness, and they threw it down the final 3/16 of a mile. And I just wonder if Film Star's stamina got the better of Speediness.
And that could be now the advantage. You could say Speediness has had a couple more races under his belt. He's moving back out from sprint to route. Yeah, as long as they don't go nuts up front, I just got to think Film Star will shadow again, and they could take that match race from the quarter pole home here at the 1 1/8. You also saw in that video, Catalea Strike kind of moved within range, just didn't quite kick on. He'll need a little bit more help up front, but look at the stat here for Jamie Ness.
You mentioned that Speediness has been a little busier than Film Star recently. After the Manfuso, he's had 3 races. They cut him all the way back to 6 last time out. You saw that stat, sprint to route. High percentage, high ROI, and Jamie just believes that Speediness carries his speed a little bit better at longer distances. Will it be good enough to go 1 1/8 against Film Star? We'll find out. Film Star has run back only once since the Manfuso. That was in a pretty strong allowance race at Aqueduct. He tried similar tactics as we saw in the Manfuso, and he just tired a little bit at the end, but he ran into a pretty good horse that day. That Phileas Fogg came back. He won the Excelsior last week with a 98 buyer. I think Linda Rice is happy she scratched Film Star from the Excelsior and I didn't have to deal with that one.
Yeah, and this horse has won Lasix on to off a little bit of a break and run a pretty good number as well. So I think this horse is definitely capable. Film Star today, these 2 should be duking it out from the quarter pole home. If you're looking, the horse that kind of I can't figure who could be a real thorn is Feeling Woozy. He's shown some speed in the past. Where's it been? Recent work suggests he could be back and ready to go on the engine. He's a real guess for me. Curlin's Malibu, I'll throw into the mix as well. This is a horse that does like Laurel Park.
And again, we talked about Rudy Sanchez Solomon doing very well recently. Catalea Strike is not too far behind the top 2 favorites in this race in terms of speed figures and ability. He might have been compromised when he was wired by Speediness over a speed-favoring muddy track in the Campbell 2-back, and he bounced out back with a game re-rallying victory. So if he just keep his mind on his business, he seems to run in spots. This horse can come with a late kick under Toledo. Fun race, 4, 5, 6, and 1. Speediness, you're hoping gate to wire. I'm hoping Film Star gets his close-up for Jimmy McHugh in the winner's circle. 5, 4, 6, and 1 in race number 5. Again, first leg, late pick 5, carryover, $7,225. The stakes action continues with race number 6. This is a 1-turn mile. It's the $100,000 Heavenly Cause fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Scratch the 3, Malibu Moonshine. Scratch the 5, Vincy Girl. Scratch the 7, Take the Money, Honey. The 9, Intrepid Dream. The 10 on-court commentator. Victor Carrasco pilots the 4, Opus 42. Now we have a field of 6. This is kind of an interesting race in here because Sea Dancer is here. It is also the first leg of our late pick 4. And again, you've got stakes action galore, starting with the pick 4. Interesting race. I want to start things off with, let's start things off with Sea Dancer, because I think that Sea Dancer, in a way, is the horse to beat. And I think it's a really good sign that Brittany's wheeling this horse back in a week. She's bred for turf. That's why they ran her on turf for most of her career in Southern California. They bought this horse at auction. They gave her to Brittany. Her first 2 starts routing here at Laurel were super impressive efforts. Last week, they turned her back to go a sprint against Irish Maxima, who's just in razor-sharp form. She got wired in a short field. I talked to Brittany earlier this week, and she said, listen, Sea Dancer has to do everything right this week to come back in a week. And obviously, she's done everything right. She gets an outside post. She's going to have to overcome it going a mile. But I think this horse has a lot of ability.
Yeah, I think her position is just going to be fine. Now we're down to a 6-horse field. So traffic, it shouldn't be awful for Sea Dancer, and that 2-back race was really impressive. You see the short comment there, firm hold, inside, bid, driving, winning clear. Now, going to try the 1-turn here on the main track, a little different than those 2-turn victories that she was able to accomplish and get at Laurel Park. But yeah, I think she's accomplished here. She's going to bring a finish. You got to trust that Brittany, this horse has bounced back on the short rest and is ready to go. How do you see this race shaping up? Now, does Opus 42 just go?
I think Opus 42 is the speed of this race now, especially stretching out in distance. And we'll talk about Opus 42 because this is a curious pace play at a price. This horse was in a very tough field at Tampa Bay last time out. The winner of that race is a very good horse, and Opus 42 just couldn't step with that horse off of a year layoff? So she found the toughest spot imaginable off a year layoff at a distance that was likely shorter than her best. I think it was a prep. Now stretching out, I'm expecting good speed. She's a sleeper.
Yeah, she is a sleeper. Unfortunately, her price is going to come down now a little bit with these scratches. But I know, talking to Mike upstairs a little bit, he kind of leans Opus 42. And I can see the only trepidation I would have was the wet track, but it was only one effort. So, we'll give that a pass when you're looking at the breeding Scat Daddy there, Lemon Drop Kid. Yeah, Opus 42, I might have whiffed on that one. Will be included in my exactas, no doubt. I think Royal Spa is interesting, coming off that 7-furlong race last time out in the Fritchie. Good enough behind Irish Maxima, and you go further back on the page in that grade 3 at Churchill. Look at the company lines there.
We've got some video spotlight for Royal Spa as well, and this is her most recent start. And we talked about Irish Maxima being in razor-sharp form. Here's Irish Maxima just freewheeling on the lead. Royal Spa was forced to stay closer to the pace than expected. She likes to come from a little further out of it. But look how game she is to run second. She's been on a hard chase 3 wide on the turn. She has every reason to perhaps flatten out and finish third. That St. Benedict's Prep's a good horse to her inside, capable of running solid 90 buyer speed figures for Linda Rice, but Royal Spa kept going. I like the way she galloped out after this race. I think a 1-turn mile is good for her. Rudy Brissett actually told me they were considering the grade 1 Madison for this horse. She's been working right along at Keeneland for this race. I think Royal Spa's a very dangerous threat.
I liked how she won narrowly that match race for second.
Absolutely.
And I think she's going to have to be involved by the top of the stretch. If anybody's out there clear a couple lengths, will she be able to kind of reel in that target? That's my biggest concern. So maybe a little bit more aggressive than need be from, let's say, mid-turn to upper stretch, but you might have to kind of get her involved to keep that focus and grind it out here at the 1-turn mile.
Chad Brown ships down the 2. Catherine Wheel, who he had cross-entered up in New York, decides to run at Laurel in the 1-turn mile, and the 1-turn mile was just fine for Catherine Wheel last time out. Let's watch that first-level allowance win because she's in against Take the Money Honey, who we'll see tomorrow in an allowance race. Catherine Wheel just found a very nice spot at this point. In behind a 3-ply speed duel. She's going to get to the outside, and she shows a lot of grit, as does Take the Money Honey. Catherine Wheel gets the bob on the wire.
Yeah, gets the bob on the wire. A good effort. Now she's coming off Lasix today, but shipping in third off a little bit of I think she's definitely a player. Again, she reminds me a little bit of Royal Spa with her running style, to get involved maybe a little bit sooner than later. But this is a good determined effort to get up and just nip Take the Money Honey. With some of this speed out of it, this race is definitely changed. Therefore, Laning, again, a horse like an Opus 42, who I kind of whiffed on, it could be a little bit more dangerous.
Three very talented horses in here, a sneaky speed in Opus 42,
Yeah.
a deep closer in Regaled, and Balenton, a horse that's here because Rudy knows she loves a wet track. Fun edition of the Heavenly Cause. You're going with the 8 Royal Spa off that 90 buyer, 8, 11, 2, and 6. I'll see if Sea Dancer can rebound off of the 1 week break. I'm going 11, 8, and 2, and don't despair. For the afternoon, I'll have a 4th pick in the Heavenly Cause for Superfecta players. We'll move on to race number 7, another stakes race. It's the $100,000 Primanetta, fillies and mares going 3/4 of a mile. Take out the 2, BG Warrior. Take out the 5, First Class. Let's start things off with Disco Ebo, the defending champion in this race. Disco Ebo has good early speed for Butch Reed. She obviously likes this course. Another horse that's very solid. Has the Disco Ebo you've seen in recent starts, is this the same horse, though, that we saw winning last year's Primanetta?
No, that was my note. She's going to have to kind of bring that number back, 74 up to a lower 80. I think if she's going to beat this group, because you've got Tipple coming in here in really, really good form. She's going to have to deal with some speed to her inside as well. Is she the Disco Ebo of old? I'm not so sure. I'm hoping she gets back to it, a 12-time winner. I've just been a big, big fan. Let's look at that video spotlight, right? Do we have that from Aqueduct?
It's the correction last time out, so the folks can decide for themselves if this is the same Disco Ebo. She still has that same early speed. And look, she's battling it out with an even money horse in Sunday Girl, who's just in very sharp form right now. Disco Girl turns into the stretch. A little bit of an early lead change right there. She's going to stay on and finish 3rd. St. Benedict's Prep, who we referenced before, ran 2nd. And she actually came back and ran 2nd to Irish Maxim in the distaff. She got another 90 buyer speed figure. Disco Ebo certainly fits with these horses if she could just remember who she used to be. She's very dangerous.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speed will play here. She's proven without the Lasix as well. A couple of these other horses, with these recent wins with the L. So I think when they turn for home, I think she's going to gain the lead. Boy, she's going to have to dig down to hold off, I think, a horse like Tipple.
She's the best speed. I agree with you. I think Tipple is the best closer. The question is Tipple as effective at this 3/4 of a mile distance as she's been going 7 furlongs in a mile? Here's her last race, a 1-turn mile for trainer Linda Rice at Aqueduct, and we see Tipple sitting in behind horses. The rail is going to open up. Tipple's going to shoot on through. She's very late to change leads in the stretch, but she's always traveling very comfortably. She did get a nice trip in this race under Jose Lezcano, but she was also much the best.
Yeah, lightly race, and looks like the horse, if anybody in here maybe is going to take a next step and head on up, it could be Tipple. Yeah, is she going to be pace dependent here? I think she's going to get the flow she likes. Mudslide's got to go from the inside. Horse like Admiral Hopper, I think, is going to be fairly forward, along with First Lady Rosalind. I think she's going to really enjoy what she's up in front of her.
And as you see her finish off this race very well, again, you have the question mark. Is turning back to 6 going to work against her? Well, if you believe in trainer stats and you believe in Linda Rice, the answer is it's not going to work against her. Last out winners, route to sprint. 7 for the last 20 for Linda, 35% winners, a $2.08 return on investment. First Lady Rosalind is a horse with a lot of upside potential for Brittany Russell. This horse showed speed at Colonial, just shook loose that day over a speed-favoring track. I didn't think the pace was very fast, but she looked good in the stretch. She has probably not shown us her absolute best, but she must avoid a duel.
Absolutely. And again, coming in off of the race at Colonial, a 4-horse field, this is definitely a step up for her. She rode the wave of that racetrack. You're going to see, really who First Lady Rosalind is. You got a little stranger in here down in the 3, Admiral Hopper coming in for Justin Nixon. We're probably going to play a little bit on Catherine Wheel, that band. Justin and I, we kind of know our 90s music going back. But Admiral Hopper, what's up?
Just call me crazy, and it's okay because we're good friends. Admiral Hopper is a horse that likes to win races. She's won half of her 14 starts. She hasn't raced on dirt in over 4 years. They've been campaigning her on synth and turf, almost like she can't win on dirt, but she did win on dirt in her career debut. Last time out at Tampa Bay, it was a very tough sprint, that Lightning City. I like the fact that she was able to show some speed, even though I think she's better coming from off of the pace. That race did produce 2 next out winners. One of them came back to win with an 86 buyer. And she was, a horse that I think is maybe a little bit class compromised. These are better horses, but her figures on the synth aren't too far off the recent ones from Disco Ebo. If there is a pace meltdown, I want to use Admiral Hopper somewhere in the number. I think she and Tipple will be running late.
Okay, and we had a little stat we forgot to share with you on the 4 First Lady Rosalind for Brittany Russell.
Well, it's a Brittany Russell. It's a good stat. Last out winner, third after 61 to 120-day layoff, 6 for the last 16, and a positive return on investment. Again, this horse has upside. Rounding out the top picks for race number 7, 6-7-4-3 for Keith, 3-7-4-6 for me. It's time for the late daily double. Race number 8 is the $100,000 Frank Y. Whiteley Stakes, 7/8 of a mile, 6 in. Brittany's going to keep New King in, and Toledo will take the mount on the number 4, New King. Well, let's start things off with Bartlett in here. Your top selection in this race. We have a stat, I believe, for trainer John Service. When John Service comes to Maryland, he's not here for the crab cakes. 13 for the last 49, 27%, 247 ROI. Bartlett is moving back to his preferred dirt surface. He's coming off the layoff, but he's got speed in a short field, and it's not like there's a ton of gas in here.
He scratched to go here, and I like this move by not this time. Smarty Jones on the bottom side. First time over a wet track for Bartlett. This guy's quick. He should relish the off track. I think he just kind of goes right to the front, goes gunning, hopefully relaxes a little bit, and Frankie can finish. I mean, is anybody really going to press him? I don't know. Factor it in. I don't know if he's got the speed that he once maybe had. 7's 11. I don't know, but he's stepping up, facing definitely some of the toughest competition he's ever faced. In 7/8, maybe I would have liked him a little bit better at 6. But, carrying that speed at a mile 70 could work for me, and I think day off track's going to carry him a little further.
He's a horse with a tremendous amount of upside. Worcester is the horse that might be coming into this race as the most accomplished or best horse or in form. Worcester, we have a video spotlight to show. I think he's going to be the likely favorite in this race. This is his race at Laurel Park, I believe 2 starts back on January the 26th. And just look how comfortably Worcester is traveling near the back. This pace is solid, but Sheldon Russell is just so confident. And right now it's all about, does Worcester get a place to run? Because if he does, he's going to win, and Sheldon remains patient. There's the seam, and Worcester just does the rest. This is a classy and likable performance. And after this race, Keith, they shipped Worcester up to New York, stretched him out to a mile in the stymie, and I talked to Brittany, and she said, you just didn't see the best Worcester that day. He just didn't seem comfortable in the paddock. He just didn't seem comfortable in the warm-up. And guess what? He still ran second to a good horse in Bank Frenzy, who came back and earned, a 97 buyer in his next start. Worcester, I think, turning back to a sprint, that helps him.
And 3 lengths in front of Coastal Mission.
Not bad.
No stranger around here, right? And what would Coastal Mission probably be, in here? So and you saw the race 3 races back. He laid a little bit closer. So no panic. I think if Sheldon needs to put him a little bit closer, sooner, he has that ability to do so against this group.
Circle P is a horse that's grown up mentally a lot over the years. He was a big baby when he won the Maryland Juvenile, but he always had the talent. I like the fact that he seems to have matured from a tactical standpoint. He can stay close to the pace, as he did in the restricted Not for Love last time out. He sat a very good trip behind the 2 speeds, but once he got to the outside, he grinded it out. I don't mind this horse going out to 7 furlongs, and I think if the pace is slow, he'll still be in contention turning for home.
Yeah, you just look at the opening quarter last time, 22-3, and then the half 45. Within a length and a half drop back. Yeah, they got away from a little bit, but man, things really heated up. Those 2 were ding-dong and top of the stretch, but Circle P kept grinding. Yeah, he's positionally works and factoring in. I would like him maybe a little bit better. I've always been a fan of factored in. You're getting a good line here at 15-1. Sneaky good on a wet track, 4 for 5. That's not even sneaky good. So factor in, it works for me.
What do you make of New King? Brittany's decided to run this horse, and first time in the Brittany barn. Hasn't had this horse very long. She said he was a little quiet when he first came off the van, but has improved every single day. Is the distance a little bit sharp for this horse? Because another horse with a lot of upside.
Yeah, plenty of upside. This one's a guess for me. I really don't know what to make. You see some of the horses in there. Miramati, we know what he's been capable of from a numbers standpoint, but underneath for me today with Toledo.
Let's close things out with race number 9, 7/8 of a mile. 25 down to 20. Non-winners at 2 life. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Take out the 4-star Venezuelan. Take out the 6. She's a gem. Let's start things off with Guy for the win. The number 7. I believe we have a trainer stat for Guy for the win. Hugh McMahon's been on a roll recently. March 8th to April the 6th. 5 for 22 at $2.18 ROI. Hazelwood was named on 3 horses in the original overnight. He chose Guy for the win.
Following Yetzit. That's what I'm going to do moving forward every day. But no, I thought that last race was okay. The internals were sharp at a mile. It was a race that involved Magically Vanished as well. But I think this horse just kept on willingly enough. You're looking at the speed. It's probably going to come from the 3 Umbro, but I think Guy for the win can stay close enough. He gave a really good ride on a horse yesterday as well. I mean, 4 wide into the turn, just so, definitely maneuvered. Really, really good move. Got in about 2 paths around the turn, dropped to the inside. Just wasn't quite good enough. This guy's thinking when he's riding. He's got a lot of talent. So I think Guy for the win can kind of go ahead and just spy the speed. And if there's an opportunity to save some ground, he will and bring a finish to round it out. So you got a trainer and a rider. They're going great right now. I like that combo.
And repeating the route to sprint move that resulted in her lone lifetime victory. I'm keying in on 2 horses in this race. The 3 Umbral, simply because she's the speed, and I think she needed her last race, her first start in a long, long time. She was battling for the lead. She gave way grudgingly. I think she has an easier time making the lead in here. And you know I'm a big fan of the 5 What's Your Big Idea? And I've been waiting for either a hood or blinkers to come on. What's Your Big Idea? And Lacey's finally putting the blinkers on here. I thought this horse was in behind horses turning for home last time out. Didn't have much of a kick when altering outside, but this horse has run well for blinkers, with blinkers for Lacey on a wet track in the past.
Yeah, that was not a good trip, not a comfortable trip whatsoever. And a little stat, last few years, 3 for 7, 369 ROI, dirt sprints, 3rd off of a 61 to 180-day layoff. So that's one of her positive angles. Year in and year out for Lacey Gaudet.
7, 3, 5, and 2 for Keith. 3, 5, 7, and 1 for me in the finale at Laurel Park. Best play time, Keith. Where are you going?
Oh, it was hard for me to come up with a stone cold best play. I ended up changing my world. I think we got a little value at 5 to 1 on the morning line. Rodriguez, I think, can get this one to relax a little bit better. He was so headstrong after that early adversity. And that might have thrown him off his game as well. But I think he can track at the 1-turn mile. J-Rod knows this horse. Even going back, he studied this horse. He's like, I want to ride this guy. He's back on today, and I think he can get to the winner's circle.
On a wet track, clean faces, win races. And I'm hoping in race number 2, the number 2 Great Andre is right to the front, doesn't have to deal with any kickback, and just takes this field gate to wire, and then I go wire to window. 19 minutes to post for race number 1 of a 9-race card featuring 4 stakes and a late pick 5 carryover. Callie Francois, Daily Racing Form's Mike Beer. The great Dave Rodman will take you through the afternoon card. And speaking of Dave Rodman, let's go up to the top of the stands for scratches and changes.
Go get 'em, dog.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Laurel Park. Track condition at this time rated muddy at 18 minutes to post time. And cloudy skies, temperature in the mid-40s. Winds out of the north between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Here's a look at your Laurel Park program changes for the 9-race card. First race, number 1, authenticated 2 over. Number 3, Kaya Star is 5 over. Scratch the 4, Shameless Visions. 5 got a opportunity, 4 over. 7 behind the schedule, 5 over. 9, Wicked Melissa, 1 over. Second race. Scratch number 4. Scratch the 4, Flaming Eyes. Third race. Number 7, The Haunted Room. Jockey now, Yedzit Hazelwood. Yedzit Hazelwood on the 7. Scratch 8, Out of Luck. Scratch the 10, Divine Exchange. Fourth race, no changes. In the 5th race, the Native Dancer Stakes, scratch number 2, Armando R. Scratch the 2. 6th race, the Heavenly Cause Stakes. Scratch 3, Malibu Moonshine. Number 4, Opus 42, jockey Victor Carrasco. Victor Carrasco on the 4. Scratch 5, Vincy Girl. Scratch 7, Take the Money, Honey. Scratch the 9, Intrepid Dream. Scratch the 10, On Court Commentator. 7th race, the Prima Netta Stakes. Scratch 2, BG Warrior. Workout for number 3, Admiral Hopper. April 10th here at Laurel Park. 4 furlongs, 51, 1/5 breezing. And scratch the 5, All Class. 7th race. 8th race, the Frank Whiteley. For New King, jockey Jebby on Toledo. Jebby on Toledo on the 4. Owner correction, 5 Bartlett, owned by Newell Thoroughbred. 9th race,